welcome to today's video. And today I've actually come to a new location to get inspired and have some excitement really in my photography, due to the fact this year really has been so wet, this beginning of this year, should we say, like unprecedented rain in the UK, and I found myself with a free day today and I didn't really know what to do, so I thought, you know what, time to get out and look for a new location, I'll speak again, sorry, and actually see what I can find. And it doesn't matter if I don't go home today without a photo, but getting out to me is the most important thing. So we're going to go see what we can find in this woodland today, in the Thetford Forest of the Old Hockenham Trail, and yeah, let's go around and see what we can find. So I found the first sort of subjects that took my interest, and now I'm just going to get the camera out and work the scene a bit and see if it actually is worth taking a photo. And what it is these two trees that still got beautiful autumn colour on. So I'm just going to grab the camera out, handheld, and just play around and see what we can get from the scene, I guess. So what I've done first there was check the camera in auto ISO, high shutter speed, just to get a look on the back of the camera of what the scene might look like before I get the tripod out, the filters out and everything I need, just to sort of give a feeling if this is worth it. And I'm going to show you that sort of scout shot, and I think it might be, but it needs a bit more work, so I'm going to work on this scene and then get back to you when we finally fine-tune what I like. So I've been working this scene for the past 5 minutes, and the more I try, the harder it is becoming, because the fact is it's not really working as a photograph. Especially by the tree behind me here, there's too much in the midground of just nothingness, so it just seems like it's two separate photos and not one collective image. And then when you try and bring in the tree behind me here, it just makes it even worse with that foreground, or the forest floor. It's just empty with no interest in it. It just makes the image feel a bit boring and sort of unbalanced. So I'm not actually going to take another image here. I'm going to move on and see what else we can find, which is okay because we're out here scouting. But I think even if this had snow or bracken in here, it'll probably make the floor a bit more interesting for a better photo. So at least that's one to keep in mind for the right conditions. Being at the new location for the first time, I'm actually sticking to the outside trail at the moment of this woodland, just peering in as we walk around. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I don't know the area that well, and until I get to know the area better, I'll start diving further. The thing is, I don't really want to get lost. So that's what I do. So when I first come to a new location, especially woodlands, I just stick to the main trails, just walk around and see what takes my interest really. And sorry, I keep looking around because as I walk around, I don't want to miss a potential scene or a potential subject which takes my interest. So let's carry on walking and see what we can find. So I found my second shot, I believe, but caught my interest was a tree sort of just out of camera over here with lichen and quite a bit of character, but as I was walking further down, it was a tree even further with branches leading out into these hallways of these pine trees, as this is a sort of a man-made forest where everything is in perfect lines, and there's this old tradition, I can't say the word, sorry, this old tree just coming up full of lichen, covered in green. So I'm going to head down further down, and then we're going to try and see if we can find a shot of this scene. Now we're at the close enough to the subject to actually get the camera up, which is this what's standing behind me, this tree here. So I'm looking at the screen so I don't point at the wrong thing. But we've got this tree here which just sort of leans in, and there's some branches there which just beautifully lean into this nice gap. So I might use a telephoto lens, which is for me the 24-200, and just focus on that bit, see what I can get from this sort of subject. So same again, I'm going to get the camera at the bag, handheld it, and see what I can sort of come up with, and if it's worth getting the tripod out, and then the filters out. So let's move up. So as you can see, I worked around the whole tree, and as characterful I'm finding this tree isn't really a photo there again. So I know it can sort of get disheartening. There's two sort of subjects I've spotted and yet no photo, but it's given me sort of a bit of a hope to see, well, there might be a chance I might actually find a photograph here. But this is only my first visit, so you can't let that get to you. You know, I might take the 10th visit here before I actually find a photograph I really like. So let's carry on scouting. I might head further even down this sort of corridor of trees, because there are a few more interesting characters further down. So let's see if we can find a shot there. So again, third sort of subject I found, but yet not really photograph. But I might just walk around the other side just to double check. I'm actually quite glad I walked around the back of this tree, because I've actually found a photo I quite like, and that's using this tree to fill the full frame of this character with its twisting branches and stuff. It's a bit awkward this one, because I've had to raise a little bit on the centre column. Luckily there's no wind, so I don't have to. I've got a polarizer on the front of the lens, and I'm at 50mm, and we're 1/8 of a second, 6.3, and the aperture in ISO 100. But I've had to put a delay timer on it for 2 seconds, because I've got to sort of step round the camera. As I take the shot, I've got to just pull this branch down just to get some of the annoyance, bit of annoyance branches which just hit the bottom of the frame, which make the image look a bit too cluttered. So I've got this photo, I'm going to show you this photo, then I think we'll pack up and move on, because like I said, this is only a scouting trip, so I'm not going to spend too much time on a lot of these photos. So I think we'll pack up the camera and then head on to somewhere new. So now I'm on the main route again, like I said, what's going around the woodland, and it's quite nice to have that feeling of having that first image on the camera, even if it isn't going to be an award-winning image. It's just nice to have, and it gives me that sort of inspiration when we have that like drizzle rain, or have fog, I can come back here and create more separation between those back pines of that tree. And I've just spotted another potential subject, so I'm going to head deeper into the woodlands again and hopefully we'll get another image on the card. So I've got my camera in hand and I'm actually, as walking into this scene, I found an unusual subject which I wouldn't really photograph, and that's a snail halfway up this, well, about here on this tree, and sort of using a telephoto and sort of trying to use that as a macro lens, you know, sort of zoom right in and stand quite far back, you'll get the shot. So I'm going to show you this photo. So, and again, this subject behind me hasn't really been fruitful for me. I'm not really seeing an image which actually inspires me to take the photograph, and that's okay. I might sound a bit disheartened about it, but I know I can walk further and get it, and I'm definitely going to be coming back to this woodland because there is a lot of characters here, and at the moment I'm just picking the ones that initially take my interest, not spending time with them. So like I said, the aim of the goal today is actually cover ground, not cover a lot of photographs. So let's pack up, let's walk around a bit further, and hopefully something else might take my initial interest. And also another thing to remember, when you're on these scouting trips, make sure you look down at your feet, because just then there's some real cool sort of red mushrooms. I don't know what they're called, and if you do, please leave a comment down below so I can learn a bit more about fungi. And that's one thing, is like the trees over there took my interest. There's a big old fallen tree. And as I started walking down, there's a tree behind you here which has sort of like twisted branches which took my interest. And as I was walking to that, I just looked down at my feet and then I saw these sort of bright red mushrooms. So when you're on a scout, make sure you look everywhere to see what initially takes your interest. So I found, what we say, 1, 2, 3, 4, sort of a fifth subject to sort of walk around, if I remember correctly. And it's just this broad shouldered trunk really, with a lot of moss and lichen around it. And there's some few debris branches which fallen on it. So I'm going to sort of work this scene and see if I can get an image of this one. I'm not 100% sure because we now got sunlight coming streaming to the forest behind it, so I might add a bit of three-dimensional interest to the image. Hopefully if it reaches this far, which I'm not really hopeful, to be honest. So get the camera out and let's see what we can do with this one. And again, there's another image which, or another subject should I say, which didn't lead to an image, and I'm just gonna carry on. I go through the same ritual, I guess, of seeing what something interests me, get my camera, walking around, and keep doing that, because eventually you'll start to notice what you really do like and what actually catches your eye, as well as what makes a compelling composition and what doesn't. So I just use this as a sort of an exercise of just rinse and repeat, see a subject like I said, and then just scout it. So as you can see, I found another interesting subject, and this is sort of dead branch in front of me here with mushrooms growing out of it. It looks amazing with the lichen around when leading up to the actual main tree itself. So I'm going to get the camera on this one, get out, and fortunately I didn't bring my wide angle lens with me, because when I scout I like to keep light and I just take one body, one lens. And so I'm going to see if I can do this. It might have to be a photo stack with a panoramic, but we'll see. So as you can see, I've actually settled on the composition for this shot, and the light's just come out on it, so I'm just going to take these photos before I lose the light. And what I'm actually doing is photo stacking this image, because I feel like it definitely deserves it. With the 2-second timer and just using my finger on the touchscreen just to, and what we got was those mushrooms leading on this dead branch, leading us out to the main tree itself, and with the big violet, and I'm leaving a bit of a gap in there just to allow the eye just to travel through into the back forest. And I'm going to do a focused image on the background, and just in case I want to use it, but I'm not sure if I will, and just sort of keep that separation from this main branch, what I'm photographing from the back. So if you're interested in exposure values on this, it's half a second at f11 ISO 100 and probably 3 photo stacks, I think. So that's nice. We've got a sort of a second image in the bag today, which I'm quite happy about. I just might work this on this scene a little bit longer to see how the difference of light changes. There might be another cloud across the sun, so we get less harsh light on it. Right, let's get working. So as you can see, that sort of little subject was quite fruitful for me, should I say. I've got 2 compositions from it, so leave in the comments below which one you actually liked out of those 2. I'll be interested to know. I know my favourite one, and that's probably the second one if I'm honest, but I don't really know yet until I get them on the camera. They're on the camera, on the PC, should I say. I will learn to speak and talk on this channel, I do promise. So yeah, I'm just going to keep carrying on walking around and then seeing what I can find. And as you can see, the woodland's getting a bit bright now, and I'm just gonna take a slow walk back to the van now. I've been here for nearly 3 hours, I think, and I just want to save a bit more of the woodland for another time, and it's definitely another place I want to come scout even further, and maybe spend a lot of time here, and even bring the dog and the family and have a good walk around this wood and see what I can find. So unless I find another photo on the way back to the van, I'm going to say goodbye for now. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a like. And if you like this content, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. And for now, I'm going to say goodbye. Until next time.